Let's hear an inspirational story. A Frog's Tale. Once, an army of frogs were hopping cheerfully. Unexpectedly, two of them fell into a deep pit. The other frogs gathered around the pit pondering what could do to help the two companions. When they saw the depth of the pit, they croaked each other it was hopeless. They advised the frogs in the pit that they were as good as dead and they should prepare to face the fate. Unwilling to accept the terrible fate, the two frogs began to jump up with all of their might. Some of the frogs shouted that it was hopeless. One of them remarked that they should have been more careful. The two frogs continued jumping as hard as they could. After several hours of desperate effort, they were quite weary. Finally, one of the frogs took heed to the calls of his fellows. He quietly resolved himself to his fate, lay down at the bottom of the pit. After a while, he died as the others looked on in helpless grief. The other frog continued to jump with every ounce of energy he had, although his body was racked with pain and he was completely exhausted. His companions were advising him to accept his fate and just die. The weary frog jumped harder and harder. Finally, he leapt so high that he sprang from the pit. Amazed, the others celebrated his miraculous effort and then gathering around him asked, "Why did you continue jumping when we told you it was impossible?" Reading their lips, he explained that he was deaf. He had headed for water before other frogs started to croak more in shock. Let's go through past tense. There are 4 tenses come in past tense. 1. Past simple. 2. Past progressive. 3. Past perfect. 4. Past perfect progressive. Now let's go with past simple. We use the simple past to show an action or event happened in the past. Have a look at this diagram. The actions happened in the past at any time. This is the time of speaking. That means at this point we are talking about the action. The form of this tense is subject plus past form of the verb, which is verb 2. Write, wrote, written. The past form or second form is wrote, speak, spoke, spoken. The second form is spoke. See the examples. 2 of them fell into a deep pit. Here the first form or base form of the verb is fall. That is verb 1. Fell is verb 2 and third form is fallen. Here we use the second one, that is fell. Salman visited his sister yesterday. See here, visited is the second form. I baked a cake on Friday. Baked is verb 2. Now see how negative sentence in past simple tense is formed. 2 of them fell into a deep pit. This is affirmative sentence. Negative, 2 of them did not fall into a deep pit. Salman visited his sister yesterday. Negative, Salman did not visit his sister yesterday. I baked a cake on Friday. Negative, I didn't bake a cake on Friday. See here, when we split the word fell we get did plus fall. Visited is equal to did plus visit. Made is did plus make. Went is did plus go. And left is did plus leave. Let's see present progressive tense. It's called present continuous tense too. The past progressive is often used to show that one action was in progress when another action happened. Have a look at this diagram. When this action happened, another action being in progress. That means one action was happening when another action happened. The action in progress is talked in present progressive tense. This is the time of speaking. That means at this point we are talking about the action. The form of this tense is subject plus was or were or a plus ing form of the verb. See the examples. An army of frogs were hopping cheerfully. I was taking a bath when the doorbell rang. We were baking a cake last night. Now see how negative sentence in past progressive tense is formed. An army of frogs were hopping cheerfully. This is affirmative sentence. Negative, an army of frogs were not hopping cheerfully. I was taking a bath when the doorbell rang. Negative, I was not taking a bath when the doorbell rang. We were baking a cake last night. Negative, we weren't baking a cake last night. Let's see past perfect. This tense describes completed events that took place in the past before another past event. Have a look at this diagram. When there are two actions occurred in the past, the action occurred first is talked in past perfect tense. This is the time of speaking. This is the time of speaking. The form of this tense is subject plus had plus third form of the verb. Had is used for singular subject as well as for plural subject. He had arrived. The had arrived. Write wrote written. The third form is written. Speak spoke spoken. Third one is spoken. See the examples. He had headed for water before other frogs started to croak. The first action happened in this sentence is he had headed for water. Then the frogs started to croak. The train had left before I reached at the railway station. The first action is the train had left. I had baked a cake when my friend visited me. Now see how negative sentence in past perfect tense is formed. He had headed for water. This is affirmative sentence. Negative, he had not headed for water. The train had left. Negative, the train had not left. I had baked a cake. Negative, I hadn't baked a cake. The fourth in present tense is past perfect progressive. It's also called past perfect continuous tense. This tense is used to express the past action already started and continued up to another action in the past. Have a look at this diagram. The action has started in the past and had been going on for a duration up to another action in the past. This is the time of speaking. The form of this tense is subject plus had plus been plus ing form of the verb. See the examples. They had been playing football for about 2 hours when it started to rain. Riza had been working here for 6 months when she moved to Dubai. I had been making a cake for a long time. Now see how negative sentence in past perfect progressive tense is formed. They had been playing football. This is affirmative sentence. Negative, they had not been playing football. Riza had been working here for 2 months. Negative, Riza had not been working here for 2 months. I had been making a cake for a long time. Negative, I hadn't been making a cake for a long time. It is the time to have revision exercises. Read each sentences and think of the suitable verb forms and see whether your answers are correct or not.